Well, welcome back. So now we're going to talk about school being in session. I don't want to confuse everybody, so let's explain what we're talking about. Brother, we talked about when you start and I start our journey in life, right? We talked about when we start our journey. We start our journey, for the most part, the first time we have our own place, when we're paying our own rent or our own mortgage, our own electric bill, buying our own food, when we're handling our own business, we're on our own, right? We leave our parents' house and we're generally on our own, right? And sometimes we have a choice in this, sometimes we don't, but sometimes we start off really young, teenagers sometimes, but we start off and we're on our own, okay? And so that's when we're starting our journey. Now, in our journey of life, we learn things. Isn't that correct? So once we start our journey in life, we learn things. We learn things both good and bad. We learn and we make mistakes. And the object, of course, is not to keep repeating mistakes of things that we learn. So a place that you go to learn where you can make mistakes and get tests and pass or fail, that is a school. So when you're out in life and you are now starting your journey as Jacob did when he left his mother and father's house, now you've just entered life, and in another way, you have just entered school. For example, you ever lent money to somebody and they promised to pay you back and they never paid you back? Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever lent money to somebody who promised to pay you back? Sure thing, I'll pay you back as soon as I get to so and so place. I'm gonna pay you back, and they never paid you back. So whatever the amount of money is that you lent that you're not getting back, that's the cost of the class you just took to not lend any money unless you're willing to lose it. You understand? That's the cost, that's the tuition of the class you just took to not lend anybody money unless you're willing to lose it. That's the cost of the class you just took. And since you passed that class, next time somebody comes at you and say, I got this problem, man, I'm going ready to go see my parents, that they got some money for me, I just need to get there, blah, blah. Your decision now is, do I just give you this money because I'm not going to get it back? Right? That's the cost of your class. Or has anybody ever lent you money and you didn't pay them back? You come to somebody, you need money, and you ask so-and-so for some money and you didn't pay them back. So now what? This is a lesson you learn. Don't borrow money from people, because when you borrow money from people and you don't pay them back, it tends to change your relationship with them. Right? So now that class is how to lose a friend. Or should I say, how not to lose a friend. Got me? So that's the class whereby you say, okay, I don't want to lose this friend, so let me not go asking them for some money, because we're going to change, our relationship's going to change. And there's many lessons, we can keep going. Don't have a intimate relationship with somebody you're working closely with. That could end up badly. Right? Don't take a person that's a really good friend and try to make them into a lover. That can change things, because people's feelings could get involved. Right? So these are lessons that we learn in the journey of life. These are all part of our school. These are all part of our school. Welcome back, Brother Lonnie. Welcome back to everybody that come back. This is all part of our school. Okay? And so that's what we're talking about. So Jacob left his mother and father's house. He's on his way to Laban's house with Laban's family, his uncle, with the express purpose of getting a wife from Laban's daughters. And he's about to enter his life journey, and he's entering school. School is in session, especially now with Jacob, because as we now know, Jacob has some questionable traits of character, doesn't he? He has some questionable traits of character. He's the heel snatcher. And so the father, being our father, is going to teach him how to develop his character. Matter of fact, let's go to Hebrews. Hebrews, I want to say it's chapter 13. Let me see here. Hebrews. Is it 13 hour? Yeah, no, it's 12. Hebrews chapter 12. Yes, Hebrews chapter 12. Welcome back, Stephen Kelly. Welcome back, Brother Mark, Akawan Banya, Brother Lonnie, Diamond Holding. It's Hebrews chapter 12 is what we want. So Hebrews chapter 12. Going to begin at verse 5. Hebrews chapter 12, beginning at verse 5. And let's go down to verse 11. Hebrews chapter 12, from verse 5 to verse 11. Hebrews chapter 12, from verse 5 to verse 11. And ye have forgot the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the master, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom the master loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. If ye endure chastening, the Most High Yah dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then ye are bastards and not sons. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? For they verily for a few days chastened us after their own pleasure, but he for our profits, that we might be partakers of his holiness. Now, no chastening of the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yielded the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. So bastard, a bastard. What is a bastard? A bastard in this context is a son growing up without the instruction of a father. So that is why, in modern puritanical Christianity, if a woman was to have a child with a man she wasn't married to, or another woman's man who wasn't going to be around to raise the child was called a bastard because it wouldn't have any instruction. Does that make sense? So a child growing up without a man's instruction is a bastard. And that's why he said here, he said, if you are being raised, if without chastisement, that means you don't have no instruction. There's no man guiding your steps, and you're a bastard. Now, the thing is, We could be born bastards. But when we come to the Heavenly Father, we have a Father. We have His Word. We have instruction. Does that make sense? So he said, if you are going to the Father of spirits, you're not a bastard. You're a son. Because you have instruction. You have His Word. You have His Spirit. So He corrects us. That's right. So He, as our Father, is the one that chastises us, or spank us, punish us, corrects us. And that's what makes him a boy, not a bastard. He has somebody doing this for him. He has a man that's correcting him, a man that's teaching him the right way to go. Sometimes it's a step parent, right? But the stepfathers, y'all that are stepfathers, are coming up big time, because you're saving a son from being a bastard, in that you're hopefully you're giving them good instruction, correct instruction, loving instruction, so that they will gain wisdom in how to go in life. When a person is raised as a bastard, they got to learn the real hard way. They didn't make big mistakes, as many of us know, because they don't have anybody guiding their steps, really. Okay. So when we come to the Father Yah, we have a God. Our God is guiding our steps, and we have His Word, and we have His Spirit guiding our steps, and He will correct us. Well, this is what's going on with Jacob. Jacob wasn't a bastard child, obviously. He had his father, but he's now leaving his father's house. And now he's going to be corrected by the Heavenly Father. Now he's going to be taught, because you see, he got over with his daddy. He's not going to get over with his heavenly daddy. And so he's going to school. School is in session when he arrives at Laban's place, at Laban's house. School is in session. And so here we go. And he starts to go through the trials, the tribulations, the lessons that form who he becomes, okay? Because the Jacob that left his father's house at 40, the Jacob that stole the birthright, the Jacob that tricked his father into the blessing, would not be the same Jacob at the end of his life. He'd be a different Jacob then. And in fact, as we will find out, his name wouldn't even be Jacob anymore. The Father would give him a new name. Okay, praise the Most High. Okay, so let's go to, and that's the thing. And he said in Hebrews, we just read, if you don't receive correction, then you're a bastard. If you receive correction, then you're a son. That's why he said we receive correction from people that corrected us. Well, the Father of spirits, we need to be in subjection to Him. If we don't receive His correction, we become not only rebellious and hard-headed, but we become a bastard because we're not receiving correction. Yes, that's right, Mark. That's exactly right. Unless you become like children. Children trust their father, right? Your parents are being given authority over you from the Most High. So when you're a child, you are listening to you. And then oftentimes, I mean, y'all know when I'm about to say, y'all will understand. If I say, look, when you first start your journey on your own, you lean a lot on what you learned from your parents or whoever was had authority over you. You lean a lot on what they taught you, for good or for bad. I remember it used to drive me crazy. My father used to be beating us, and he'd say, this is what my mother would do. And I started to hate my grandmother because, man, this you would do this. But see, that's what he was leaning on, how she would. He didn't grow up with a father, so he was leaning on how would she handle this situation. And a lot of us do the same thing. They lean on, like I have my oldest son, we raised him on soy milk, right? We raised him on soy milk. By the time he would come around, we would stop drinking cow's milk for a long time because one of my children, a couple of my children had bad reactions to it. So to this day, he's not a vegan, but he still drinks soy milk because this is what we brought. And he often said, this is what I did when I was a kid. And so a lot of times we depend on as instruction what we've learned as children from the people that raised us in order to figure out what we should do going forward. This is particularly true with children. When you start having children, you lean on what you learn from your parents, your mama, your daddy, or both if you had them. You lean on what they taught you, for good or for bad. Okay, so that is why we praise the Most High for our Heavenly Father, because we might have learned bad habits from our earthly parents, but we learn proper instruction. We learn proper principles of truth and righteousness. We learn properly how to handle things from our Heavenly Father's point of view, and that's where we're getting real instruction. See, that's where we're getting real instruction. So in Genesis chapter 29, here we come, and Jacob is entering university in Laban's house. So here we are, Genesis chapter 29, beginning at verse 1. Beginning at verse 1, I'm going to start down for verse 1, down to verse 5. Genesis chapter 21, from verse 1 to verse 5. Then Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field. And lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks. And a great stone was upon the well's mouth. And thither were all the flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in his place. And Jacob said unto them, my brethren, whence be ye? And they said, of Haran are we. And he said unto them, know ye Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, we know him. So Jacob comes to a well, which would later be called Jacob's well. So Jacob comes to a well, and he sees people there, 3 groups of people with their flocks, and he asks if they know Laban. Yep, we know him. Okay, so now he knows he's at the place he's supposed to be. Okay, from verse 6 down to verse 10. And he said, is he well? And they said, he is well. And behold, Rachel, his daughter, cometh with the sheep. And he said, lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep and go and feed them. And they said, we cannot until all the flocks are gathered together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep. And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass that when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the flock of Laban and his mother's brother. Sisters, brothers get inspired sometimes when they see a sister. I mean, y'all have been on the playground playing ball in the summer, and you playing ball, right? And then the girls come out. The game goes to a whole new level when the girls come out. Right? When you're playing ball out there and the girls come out, game goes to a new level when the girls come out. You gotta look good in front of the girl. Right? So that goes back thousands of years. So here's Jacob. Right? Here's Jacob. He's asking about Laban. Rachel comes. He sees Rachel. They're waiting for somebody to roll away the stone. Oh, man. All of a sudden, he becomes Hercules. He's like, oh, man. Here, look. Boom. We roll this stone out your way for you, sister. Yeah. That's why they call it the Jacob's well. Again, that well ended up in Ephraim's territory. Okay, in Ephraim's land. That's where the woman that met Messiah. That was the same well that the woman from Samaria met the Messiah. Same well, and they call it Jacob's well. Okay. All right. Genesis chapter 29. verse 11. I'm going to read from verse 11 down to verse 16. And Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. And it came to pass when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his house and told Laban all these, and he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh, and abode with him the space of a month. And Laban said unto Jacob, because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall thy wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. So now y'all remember the last time Laban run into Abraham's seed. What happened? The last time Laban ran into Abraham's seed, Eleazar was there for his sister Rebekah and brought gifts. Remember that? And Laban was hyped. Said, oh man, come on in, blessed of the Lord. Come on in. Because he knew that they had substance. So here's Jacob, Isaac, and his sister Rebekah's son. Rebekah, who inherited along with Isaac all that gold. And so Laban said, oh, come on in. And of course, we fam. So I got to give you something for being here. Laban, of course, has ulterior motives. Jacob had his eyes already on Rachel. Let's take a look. Genesis chapter 29, starting at verse 16. And let's go down to verse 21. School is in session. And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel thy younger daughter. And Laban said, it is better that I should give her to thee than I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel. And they seemed unto him but a few days for the love he had to her. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. Now, first off, how many sisters, even brothers, but sisters, how many guys would wait 7 years for you? How many men, when they meet you and decide they like you, will work 7 years so that they can pay enough so they can be in a position to marry you? How many men will do that? Right. Look, if y'all not doing something within, quick time, month, few days, weeks, few months, this ain't working out. This brother worked 7 years. Worked. Now look, this is the thing, brother. This is the interesting thing about this. So let's say it's Sister Castro. See, so Sister Castro, I'll put you on the spot, Sister Castro. So Sister Castro, look, some brother walks up to you, y'all talking, he really likes you, but he ain't really making no more money than you making. He's really struggling, and and he know, he got to come up with something so y'all could be set up. So he says to you, I tell you what, if you wait for me, I'm going to work and save my money for 7 years so that by the time 7 years comes by, we could get married and I'll have enough money to take care of you and me. What would you think about that? First of all, whether you like the brother or not, you got to admit, right, Sister Castro, that's noble. That's a noble situation. Isn't that's very noble of the man, right? I mean, the man is saying, look, I'm going to work for 7 years. I'm not seeing nobody else. I'm not having sex with nobody else. I'm working. So at the end of 7 years, I will have put together enough dollars so that we can get married. Right? I mean, whatever he put together, you know, he worked hard for. You know, he was purposeful about that. You know, he means to take care of you. You understand? Exactly. You have to respect that. That's exactly right. Whether you decided you wanted to be with the brother or not, which you would have to let him know, because he's ready to commit 7 years to put this thing together. But one thing for sure, you got to know this brother is serious. He means business. He ain't just trying to, you ain't just another notch on his belt. Right? You're not just another notch on this brother's belt. This brother means to make you a wife. And by virtue of him willing to do what he's going to do, he's willing to show that he wants to be a husband. Now that's something else, isn't it? So that what am I saying? I'm saying, like, you could be poor. You could be making minimum wage at McDonald's and you want to marry somebody. First of all, are you willing to set up for 7 years so that you can be in a better position to take care of this woman as your wife? First of all, there's a couple of big issues that we would be dealing with here in 2023. One issue is the brother willing to do that? Second issue is the sister willing to wait? Right? I mean, I sound crazy, but that's the truth, isn't it? Sister would have to be waiting. She'd have to be waiting for him. She have to decide, okay, I'm going to not see nobody. I'm going to be betrothed to you. And I'm going to let you fulfill your word. You're going to work 7 years for me to make sure that you and I could get on a good footing when we connect. Now, the wedding, notice what he said, verse 21. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. That is a term in the Bible, go in unto her, meaning I'm going to have sex with her. That's not the only meaning. People get it all confused and say that the angel Gabriel had sex with Mary. I know it sounds stupid, but people have said that. But no, when in this case, he says, I want to have sex with her, because to have sex with her means she's my wife. I waited 7 years. I've worked. She's waited for me. I'm ready. I want to go in unto her. Brethren, I wonder really, though, how many marriages would last longer in this? What do you think? What do you think? Would marriages last longer in this type of scenario? So in other words, you got a young woman and she decides, okay, I'll marry you. And you say, okay, but you got to wait for me 7 years. And she said, I'm going to wait for you. And you say, okay, I'm going to work for you. And I'm going to make sure we have something at the end of 7 years. We have something that I put together. 7, I know. Yes, that's right, Steve Kelly. This is serious commitment, isn't it? This is serious commitment. You are really And notice what it said. It said, and Jacob served 7 years to Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days. Like, he loved this woman. He wanted this woman so much that the 7 years didn't seem like nothing. He was willing to just go through that for her. You understand? You understand? So you know, there's a commitment level with this waiting situation. There's a commitment level. Okay. My oldest son, man. I kept telling him he was getting girlfriends, trying to get serious. And I said, look, bro, just when you break up, I said, bro, can you just wait a second? Could we just wait a year, get yourself together, save some money before you jump into the next one? Because just wait. And I could never get him to wait a year. Just wait. A year. I said, please save your money. Wait a year. I could never get him to do that. And you know why? Because today nobody wants to wait, number one. Number two, with the internet and online dating, forget it. You ain't waiting for nothing. Ain't nobody waiting. Ain't nobody waiting. But you can see that the wait period, even like today, I mean, seriously, if you met somebody today, you single, you met somebody today, do you think it's unreasonable for you to regularly see that person, not have sex with them, and wait and build something that you're preparing for y'all to be together? You're preparing a place, she's preparing herself, and you're both waiting. Is that unreasonable? No, ask me. Is that an unreasonable request? Is that unreasonable for somebody to say, you know what? I think we should wait a year and let's see each other. Let's talk to each other. Let's see if we, and let's plan what we're going to do. I would say even 2 years. If you're really like, if I'm a dude, I'm living in an apartment and I'm going to marry a wife, I should have something. I should have either a bigger apartment or something. I need to have something. So I need to build something toward us having something. And she, sisters today understand the situation. She also, she's going to try to build something so that by the time y'all come together, y'all not starting off, hand to mouth. You have something that you put together and you waited for each other. That was the only time I did that with my wife. It was the only time. And that was even difficult for me. I wasn't used to waiting. And so when I met her, we did not have sex before we got married. And it was only 9 months, but it seemed like forever. But I was determined. I was like, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to mess up. And a couple of times we almost did, but then the Most High protected us. And I couldn't even really kiss her because I was like that time, 21, 22. Please, you can't be just hugging up on no woman and not having it affect you, man. Right? You can't do that. But I wanted to wait and I wanted to try to have something. I had a little apartment, try to do something, man. And yeah, it was nothing 9 months, but it seemed like a long time, right? But I'm saying there is a benefit to waiting and trying to, you're trying to really know each other. You're trying to get stuff together in preparation for you to be together. Today, if you got a place to stay in the bed, then y'all just jump in and that's it. And y'all know that don't work out most of the time, right? That doesn't work out most of the time. There's no commitment. There's no nothing. There's no planning. It's just like dogs coming together. There's nothing. You want to have some sort of plan. You want to have some sort of wait period. You want to have something where you're getting to learn this person. And you want the Most High to be able to show you if this is the person, right? So you want him to be able to show you, and he will show you if you give him time. A lot of people, though, once they make up a mind to get married, they're going forward regardless. And you shouldn't do that. You should really let the Most High confirm to you whether this is true. No matter how you feel, you should let the Most High confirm to you that this is true. Take some time. Well, Jacob took 7 years. Praise the Most High. He took 7 years. So he came to her father and he said, okay, I fulfilled my part of this agreement. Give me my wife. Okay. Verse 22. Going to read from verse 22 down to verse 26. Actually, verse 22 to verse 27. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. See, it's called what? A wedding feast, right? That's the marriage, the wedding feast. And then he goes in to his wife. That's marriage in the Bible, okay? And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him. And he went in unto her. And you see, he couldn't see her face. It was night. And they usually wore a veil. Remember when Rebecca saw Isaac, she wore a veil. So here come Leah in the veil. Jacob, and it's dark. There ain't no lights. So they going into this place to have sex. Jacob don't see who it is. He's assuming it's Rachel. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his handmaid, his maid for a handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, what is this thou hast done to me? Did not I serve thee for Rachel? Wherefore then did thou beguile me? Does Jacob know what it's like to be beguiled? Or does he know what it's like to actually do the beguiling? Has he been on the other side of that before? Well, now he's getting tricked himself. Why did you beguile me? Now he know how his father felt once his brother Esau came into the room. School is in session. Why did thou beguile me? And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet other 7 years. So Laban is benefiting from Jacob being there. Jacob's being a blessing. As you're going to see, Jacob's being there, being a blessing to Laban. Okay, so Laban's benefiting. So Laban said, I ain't letting this brother go just like that. So he said, 7 more years, man. Just for, I got to give you the firstborn first. Brethren, there's always some smooth, fast talk, right? There's always some smooth, fast talk. Hey, listen, bro, I hear you. But, in this country, you got to marry the oldest one first. They never discussed that. You got to marry the oldest one first before you get the younger. So you got to stay another 7 years and you could have Rachel. No, I don't think so. But it's interesting that 7 good years and 7 bad years thing, though. It is interesting, isn't it? But yeah, 7 is an interesting number. What they say, marry a woman Muslims say marry a woman half your age plus 7. They use that actually around the world. Half your age plus 7. That's what they say. So here we go. Fulfill this 7 years. And you can have her. But meantime, you got Leah. You got Leah. Okay. So now he has Leah. Now, Leah is the hated wife. When I say hated, I don't mean Jacob had something personally against her, but she's not the one Jacob wanted. And so she's going to be married to Jacob for 7 years before he marries Rachel. And so, you know what happens when you have a wife that's hated and a wife that's loved? The Most High opens the womb of the wife that's hated and makes sure she has son. Okay. The wife that's loved, I don't know. But the wife that's hated, she going to get children because the Most High is looking upon her affliction. She didn't have, the father said, you're going to marry this man. She said, okay. Okay. All right. All right. Now, verse 28, 29, and 30. Jacob did so and fulfilled her week. And he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also. And Laban gave to Rachel, his daughter, Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid. So he had Leah and Milcah, right? Am I right? He had Leah and Milcah. And then he had Rachel and Bilhah. No, Zilpah. That's right. Leah and Zilpah. And then he had Rachel and Bilhah. So he gets, little did he know. Little did he know. brethren be acting like it's fantasy to be having all kind of women, man. No, it ain't. Not only that, Rachel, Jacob should teach you something, man. And especially if y'all all in the same camp, oh, you looking for trouble. You looking for trouble. Okay, you got to be looking for trouble. You can't have two women sharing the same kitchen. Are you crazy? Well, Jacob found out. Here we go. Verse 30. And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet other 7 years. No. A woman owns her house and her kitchen. Sisters in my line, women, the queen has the house. You don't share the queen's palace with another queen. Are you crazy? You must be crazy. You don't share the queen's palace with another queen. You don't do that. Especially if the queen does some cooking. If the queen's cook and you trying to share the same kitchen. Okay, Genesis chapter 29, verse 31 and 32. And when Yahweh saw that Leah was hated, see, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, surely Yahweh hath looked upon my affliction. Now, therefore, my husband will love me. And she conceived again, verse 33, and bare a son, and said, because Yahweh hath heard I was hated, he hath therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon. And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore, his name is called Lawad. And she conceived again and bare a son. And she said, now will I praise Yahweh. Therefore, she called his name Judah, or Yahwadah, or Yahada, and left bearing. So again, sons, big time. Not saying daughters don't mean anything. Daughters are special, especially to their daddies. But sons at that time not only represented the carrying on of the name of the family, it represented Social Security. That was your Social Security. Leah had 4 sons. That means she was going to get taken care of when she got older. When she got older, her sons were going to provide for her. If her husband was to die, she had sons that's going to look out for her. It was their duty to look out for their mother. Okay? There was no Social Security, there was no welfare. They had to look out for their mother. So she had 4 sons. The Most High blessed her so that she had a dowry of sons that was going to look out for her. Rachel had her husband. She had Jacob. But she didn't have no sons. Leah had the sons, man. 4 sons. Yeah. And so Leah had 4 sons, and the Most High looked out for her. And she had a dowry. She had a Social Security. She had some people that was going to be watching out for her. Her sons were going to be watching out for her. It's still the same. Like if you go to the African cultures today, it's still the same way. In a lot of African countries, there's more than one wife in the situation. There's more than one wife. That's not uncommon in Africa, and they're looking for sons. The more sons the wife has, the better she feels. They don't have Social Security in Africa. So the more sons she has, and the sons know that part of their responsibility is to look after their mother when she gets old, because the father's going to die. Generally, the woman is much younger than the man. And even in the United States, in the so-called developed nations, the man dies first. So the man's going to die first. The sons are going to be the security for the mother, to take care of the mother. And in Africa, I wish like a lot of people could study a little bit even, or witness how the men in Africa treat their mothers. They reverence their mothers. Okay. I had one of my best friends from Ghana. His mother was a spendthrift. She would spend up the money. He would be complaining about her, but he built her a house. He was over here working 2 jobs. He built his mother in Africa a house and paid for it. because that was for his mother. Okay. And his brother and his father had divorced his mother and went for another wife, and his brother took care of the other wife. Yeah, one was Kwaku, the other one was Kwame. They took care of their mothers because that's what they do. Okay, take care of their mothers. All right, so they do that in that culture even today. They do that. So the women are looking to have sons. Sons are going to take care of her when she gets older. And not just in Africa. I have friends from Turkmenistan, other countries. Same thing. The parents expect that the sons they have are going to take care of them, both mother and father. Father get old, mama get old. They're expecting. They got sons. Sons are going to take care of us. That's how it is. Okay. Same in Philippines. Lots of countries do the same thing. It's only the United States where you get the government, giving you Social Security, disability, SSI, and you get pension and all that. It's only the United States where that is not as strong. But in other cultures and other countries, it's even today common for the women want to have sons because those sons are going to be strong and they're going to take care of mama. Mama's going to come with the package. Okay. You might get wife, and wife knows mama's coming with the package. Okay. Mama's there, and she's going to be with the package. So the Most High blessed her with four sons. Praise the Most High. So now it's going to get even more. We're going to read a little bit chapter 30. It's going to get even more interesting. Let's start chapter 30. Genesis chapter 30, beginning at verse 1. Genesis chapter 30, beginning at verse 1. Now, Jacob's school is in serious session. He's already started. Now he's going to another level. And when Rachel, verse 1, chapter 30 of Genesis, verse 1, and when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, give me children or else I die. Can you imagine? I need you to get me pregnant. If you don't get me pregnant, I'm going to die. So now here's Jacob. He's dealing with Laban, still working for Laban. And there's problems with that, as you're going to see. He's got Leah. Leah had 4 sons for him already. And now Rachel don't have no sons. And she's demanding, you need to make me some babies. Can you imagine? You need to make me some babies, man. Like, you need to get on your game. I need some bullets that hit the mark, baby. Let's do Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. Poor Jacob. See, this is what happened when you think you a heel snatcher. This is what happened when you trying to be slick. This is what happened. You catching it back. And these 2 sisters ain't finished with you yet. Give me some sons, she said, or I die. And Jacob was mad, verse 2. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel. And he said, am I in the Most High sin, who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? And she said, behold, my maid, Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear children upon my knee, that I may also have children by her. So, when Sarah started that mess, she don't know what she started, man. Sarah didn't know what she was doing. She started that mess with Hagar, and now it's a thing. So now Rachel's like, okay, here's Bilhah. Have babies with her. They'll be my children. So now he got the 2 wives fighting each other. And now a 3rd woman is added. You know what? You can't just have brothers. You can't think you're just going to have women and there's not going to be no drama. What, are you crazy? And you got them in proximity to each other? What is wrong with y'all? I mean, I got my hands full with one. I can't even imagine. Anyway, Verse 3. And she said, behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah her handmaid to wife. And Jacob went in unto her, and Bilhah conceived, and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, the Most High hath judged me, and has also heard my voice, and hath given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan. So now the fifth son. So you had Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah from Leah. So then Bilhah has Dan. And the beat goes on. Verse 7. And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again and bare Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, with great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali. So now Bilhah had two sons for Jacob, Dan and Naphtali. So you have Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, then Dan and Naphtali. Now you got 6. And the school continues. Genesis chapter 30, verse 9. And when Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah, her maid, and gave her to Jacob to wife. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare a son. And Leah said, a troop cometh. And she called his name Gad. So now you have Dan, Naphtali, and Gad. 2 from Bilhah, 1 from Zilpah. And you now have 4 from Leah. 7 total. Okay? And the game continues. Jacob probably couldn't even remember who was in his bed that night. Is it Zilpah? Is it Bilhah? Is it Rachel? Is it Leah? Ooh, Lord. Verse 12. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a second son. And Leah said, happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher. So now Leah has Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah. Okay, now Zilpah has Dan and Naphtali. And then Bilhah has Gad and Asher, 9. And the game continues. The drama continues. Verse 14. And this is here you go. And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest and found mandrakes in the field and brought them unto his mother Leah. And Rachel said to Leah, give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes. And she said unto her, is it a small matter that thou hast taken my husband? And wouldest thou take away my son's mandrakes also? And Rachel said, therefore he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's mandrakes. They making the deal on Jacob's body for wheat in the field. Wait, verse 16. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening. He'd been working, the brother been working in the field all day. He comes out of the field thinking he's going to get some rest. Nope. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him and said, thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrakes. And he lay with her that night. Oh, shoot. And the Most High hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived and bare Jacob a 5th son. And Leah said, the Most High hath given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. So now the 10th son, which was Leah's 5th son, is Issachar. Issachar is the 10th son. And Leah conceived again and bare Jacob a 6th son. And Leah said, the Most High hath endowed me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun. So she had she had 6 sons: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, and then she had Issachar and Zebulun. So she had 7 sons. Her handmaid had 2. Her handmaid Bilhah had 2. She bare Jacob 2 sons, Dan, and the second one, Naphtali. And then Rachel, that was Rachel's handmaid. Then Leah, her handmaid Zilpah, bore him Gad and Asher. Man, it's getting wild, isn't it? Getting wild. So now you got 6 from Leah, 2 from Zilpah, 2 from Bilhah, 10 sons. Wow. Verse 21. Afterwards, she bare a daughter and called her name Dinah. Now, again, just want to gain some understanding here. Notice they didn't make a big deal out of Dinah as they made out of the son, because Dinah was a woman. And what that means, woman is going to be married to somebody else. And so they treat the woman like a princess. She's going to be a virgin princess in the house of her brothers. You understand? Her brothers is going to be protecting her. Okay, especially the 6 that Leah had. They're going to be protecting her because she's going to be the virgin princess for some dude that's going to marry her. But that brother better come correct because she got 6 brothers. So that's how they treated the woman. They had to actually give money, a dowry. She had to come up with something to go with her when she was getting married. So Dinah was going to be the virgin princess, the youngest of Leah's children, the only girl, spoiled rotten, I'm sure. And so there you go. There you go, man. We're not finished yet, though. We still got some schooling. We still got some schooling to go through here. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. So we'll stop here at verse 21 with Dinah. So Dinah was Leah's daughter, her last child, her 7th child. And yeah, and she's the only girl. So that's what I'm saying. Girls were different. Girls weren't expected to take care of mama at that time. That wasn't their thing. Their sons were going to take care of mama. Girls were going to get married, okay, and have a man take care of them. Where's Joe and Ben? Not yet. That's some more Stephen Kelly. Not yet. So he's had 10, and then he's had the daughter. So he has 11 children. Okay. Yeah, he has 11 children. So he has 6 with Leah, 2 with Zilpah, 2 with Bilhah, and 2 with Zilpah. All right. And so he's had 10 altogether. And then Leah had that 7th child, which is a daughter. Now, Rachel still ain't had no children yet. Jacob was going to be much older when he had those last 2. He's going to be much older when he had those last 2. All right. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay. All right. Man, this brother going through the school of hard knocks. Hard knocks. Yes, he is. And he had it coming. Okay. But these are the 12 tribes of Israel that we're seeing being developed here. These are the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. These are where we all come from. So here we are, man. This is our family. This is our nation being developed. Isn't that right? This is the nation being developed right here. This is the great nation being developed. Praise the Most High. Okay. All right. So we'll continue from verse 21 on next week as we're looking at Jacob going through his trials with Laban. It's going to get interesting. That's all I can say. It's going to be interesting. May the Most High bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom, brethren.